welcome back to my channel. So in this video, I'm going to talk about my simple ways how I have been preparing food and what I have been eating. Very traditional food, I would say. That's what I have been leaning towards for the past year or so, and how easy to make them and also so realistic. A lot of foods that you see online advertising on different platforms on social media, that the food looks so nice, they probably do taste good, and how healthy they are. Sometimes you can get drawn into that trap, and when you try at home to make those food, it's just not realistic, and it's so difficult to keep up with all that kind of preparation, and especially if you're cooking not just for yourself but for your family as well. You really don't need to complicate how you make your food. I think just few ingredients can make a delicious dish and very healthy, nourishing for your body and for your mind, and tasting good as well. So I think you can just have few ingredients and it won't take too long as well. I think as long as you are conscious of the food that you're consuming, I think that's what matters, and you are happy with that food, knowing that it's so good for you. I always think that less ingredients is more, and it's more healthier as well, and especially when you make food at home. Of course, I'm not saying that I am extremely healthy to that level where I do not indulge in like sweets or puddings. I'm not saying that, because I do. I really like puddings. I love bakeries, especially cakes. I do like to indulge in them. However, majority of my time or kind of day-to-day basis, I do focus more on healthy food and consuming nourishing food as well at home. But when I go outside and let's say go for a restaurant or maybe on a day out, then I do allow myself to kind of indulge in a different food, and I guess I call this balance. As long as you are conscious of the food that you're consuming and why you're consuming, then that's absolutely fine. But by no any means, I just want to put this out there that I am not a nutritionist. Whatever you do, you should make your own decision and not based on my opinion that I'm sharing with you. This is what works for me and this is what I believe. So please do your own research and see what works for you, because certain ingredients or certain ways of eating food may not work for you, because we're all different. But I'll be sharing what works for me and what I think is good for my body and for my mind and my soul. There has been 3 things that I have been considering before cooking food at home or eating out. So one of them being is oils. So at home, currently we do not have any oils other than extra virgin olive oil, which I use a little bit on when I'm baking something. I'll put in the oven, just drizzle a tiny bit, or on the salads. But even then, it's very rare that I would use. I'll be sharing in this video what I use instead of oils. So the reason that I and my husband have made this conscious decision not to use oils is because the oils stay in our bodies for quite a few years, and also gives you inflammation as well. So read up on that, find out more. I think as long as you do your own research and you keep up with your knowledge and what you consume, I think that's great, because that's when you will start changing your diet and the way you're cooking and the ingredients that you are using for your meals. Another thing is sugars. So I try to avoid sugars as much as I can, because sugar is a killer. You want to stay away from sugars as much as you can. However, of course I consume sugars because, as I said before, I do indulge sometimes, and I love pudding, especially cakes. I think it's one of my weakness in the sugar world, eating cakes, but I am being conscious of it, and I wouldn't eat all the time, even if I have that craving and I want to. But the third thing is that I really consider on a daily basis is how often do I eat my food. So I always used to eat little but often. And there are some people where they just eat one meal but eat a lot. So I've never been one of those people. I've always been who eats a little bit but often. And I guess I kind of thought it was normal. This is just the way I am. And I always considered as normal until I started going through this healthy food consumption journey and being mindful with my food as well. Then I came to learn, and kind of my knowledge grew over this as I was doing more research and looking into more of like food and what each food does to our body and why we should be eating and why we shouldn't be eating. The best thing works for me is eating twice a day. That would be maximum. And about 95% of the time I don't snack, even if I want to. I just wouldn't snack. I would wait for my meal and then I would eat my meal properly. There are times where I only eat once a day, and that works so well for me. In fact, I feel so much better and so much more energetic than what I used to be before. Because before, when I used to eat a little bit more often, I would used to get more hungry and more sluggish and low energy and more irritable, but also my gut health wasn't the best either. So yeah, I just eat twice or once a day and it works best for me. But of course, as I keep saying this, do your own research and see what works for you. This works for me and I am thriving with that, but it may not be suitable for you, or it may be. So yeah, let me know what your habits are when you eat. I'm always interested to hear how people, like what kind of their routine is with eating.
Here I'm going to make some late breakfast / lunch. Mostly I like to do all my cooking in the morning if I can, but that's not always the case depending on what my plans are for that day. And I definitely don't cook every day. This is something new that I have been implementing on my daily basis. So now I'm preparing for orange, carrot and ginger juice. Honestly, lately I have been loving making this juice, especially this one. It's full of nutrients and amazing for gut health, which has been my main focus. Reason I have been loving this type of juice because orange are a good source of vitamin C. Vitamin C is important for growth and repair of tissue in all parts of our body, especially repairing bones and teeth, and it helps the body to make collagen. As we age, our collagen production decreases naturally. Carrots are a good source of vitamin A, and vitamin A supports with vision, helps our body's natural defense against illness and infection. And as for ginger, I just love taste of the ginger, but despite the taste, ginger has been used as ancient medicine for the thousands of years until this current day. It has so many amazing health properties, few of them being improves immunity system, provides healthier skin as it contains antioxidants, plus has antiseptic properties too. This is definitely not a replacement of eating a whole fruit, as of course you will get all the good properties of fruit if you eat as a whole, but juicing is a healthy way to consume right nutrients as it gets digested differently, and it depends what's your intention with juicing. Look at this goodness. So you can batch your juices, but I haven't. I either make on the day or day before for the next day, and I leave in the fridge. I love these can glasses. They don't just look nice, but also so enjoyable to drink your juices from. I will leave a link in the description below of these glass cans and the slow juicer that I'm currently using too. So I usually have this at late morning or evening, depends how I feel, and it's quite filling on its own. So personally I wouldn't have it with food, but of course it's up to you. As for today, I will have one glass straight after I finish cooking food this morning, and definitely looking forward to it. I always take my time sipping on my juices. There is times where I don't finish the whole glass, so I leave for later day, or on the next day I will drink the rest. Next, I'm going to make my favorite traditional tomato soup, and let me tell you, this soup is so delicious. I cannot express enough how easy and simple it is to make this tomato soup, and of course it's full of nutrients. I got this yummy recipe from one of my family members when I went back to Lithuania, and ever since I have been making this soup. Especially in winter time, this soup is just perfect. So I like to add a bit of butternut squash for sweetness, and I don't use anything from cans or preservatives. I use all fresh ingredients as much as I can. In all my soups, I like to add good amount of garlic cloves and onions, especially in the traditional tomato soup. Adding extra garlic will just taste and smell better. Then I just place everything into the oven dish with some salt, pepper and tiny bit of olive oil drizzled on top. I usually don't add olive oil, but today I felt like I wanted to for the purpose of taste. So whilst that's in the oven, I'm going to make some ghee. And just in case you are not familiar with ghee, it's made from butter, simply heated up on a slow temperature until the water evaporates and leaves milk solids, clarified liquid fat known as ghee. And you can use that instead of any other oils. That's all I have been using lately instead of seed oil or vegetable oil. I also do like using butter, but the only thing cooking on butter in a high temperature, it doesn't tolerate very high temperature, whereas ghee can be used in a high temperature. What I like about ghee, it's full of healthy fat-soluble vitamins such as vitamin E and vitamin K2, which studies has been shown to improve cardiovascular health. And just in case you like to make this at home, I would really recommend to try go for raw butter instead of made with pasteurized milk. So I do make quite a bit of these jars, at least 4 to 5 jars, and it lasts me for quite a while. Plus I do share that with my family members as well if they do need. And it's so easy to make. You don't need to go and buy from the shops. You can just simply make this at home. When it cools down, I store it in the fridge. And once it sets, I just leave one jar outside the fridge, the one I use for cooking, and it doesn't need to be put back in the fridge each time I use the ghee. Okay, so the vegetables are roasted and ready. It smells so good. And now I'm going to transfer them into the casserole for just 5 to 10 minutes cooking on the slow fire with some added water, and then I will add some spices to my liking. And I do like my tomato soup to have a hint of chili, so for that I will be adding some Tabasco sauce later on. Okay, so now the soup is done, I'm going to make some pasta bake. Despite how easy and quick to make this dish, it's also healthy and tastes so good. So here I'm using ghee for my minced beef. So easy to cook, and also the ghee smells really good. Finally, I'm going to enjoy my homemade juice as all my cooking is done now. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have gained some value from this video, and I will see you in my next one.